But we begin with the deadly flooding in central Texas. This is a tough story. It's killed dozens of people, and unfortunately, the death toll continues to rise. Many more are still missing in Kerr County, Texas, which is just over 100 miles northwest of San Antonio. That includes at least 27 girls from a Christian summer camp. Governor Greg Abbott and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem are on the ground helping in recovery efforts. They were joined by my next guest, who says the tragedy from the storm could be felt as far east as Austin. Joining us now is Texas Senator John Cornyn. Senator, this is so unfathomable. It's really hard to get your arms around this. You're a Texan. You live there. These are your constituents. What are you hearing, seeing, and feeling in Texas this morning?
Well, it's a very sad time, but it's also a time when 850 plus campers were accounted for and recovered. I talked to a friend of mine who's a former colleague of yours in the House of Representatives who had two daughters there, and they had just gotten home late yesterday afternoon, and of course they were traumatized by the whole event, but they were just beside themselves with joy that they had recovered their children. But tragically, as you point out, there are 27 campers, these young girls, still missing. And this was a 100-year flood event in an area that had been known to flood, but nothing like this, where the floodwaters rose 26 feet in about 45 minutes in the middle of the night. So a terrible tragedy, but thanks to President Trump and Secretary Noem, the federal disaster relief has been provided at the request of Governor Abbott, and it's just a time of very many conflicting feelings, but primarily we're very sad for those who've lost their lives and the unaccounted for. Governor Abbott has called today a day of prayer, and we are still saying our prayers here in Texas for those who've grieving and those who are still unaccounted for.
Well, it's still a search and rescue opportunity, and there are miracles that happen in this world. I think the power of prayer is such an important one. Talk to us about the heart of Texas. We talk a lot in this country about the heart of Texas and how tough it is. What's happening right now? Because if I know Texans, they're going to be out there with their shirt sleeves rolled up, willing and wanting to help.
Well, Texans are tough and they're resilient. And this isn't the first natural disaster we've experienced or catastrophe. A couple of years ago, we had a terrible incident up the road here from Austin, where I live, and a county commissioner said at the time, he said, well, being a Texan doesn't just describe where you live, it says who your family is. And so we are a family. Texans are tough, but we also understand that people are grieving, and it's a very sad time. But we are unified in saying our prayers for those who are grieving, and as I said, those who are yet unaccounted for now, more than 48 hours after this terrible flooding event.
Senator, what's your message for what Texans should be doing? Because we heard a weather report from Rick Reichmuth here at Fox Weather explaining that flooding's not necessarily over. They're expecting some torrential rains in other parts of Texas. Hopefully nothing nearly as devastating as what we saw, but there's still a lot of rain coming down in Texas today.
Yeah, we've had an extended period of drought this summer, which is not unusual in the heat of the Texas summer. But of course, all this rain during a short period of time is causing flooding. And unfortunately, there have been loss of lives in other parts of the state beyond Kerrville, where the Camp Mystic was located. So people need to pay attention to the weather reports and the cautionary messages of local and state officials, and to be safe because the danger is not completely over.
Yeah, I'm struck by the idea that this Camp Mystic, where so much of this devastation happened with these young girls, that camp had been there since 1926, but nothing like this has ever happened. Final thoughts, Senator, on where we're at today, but what we can do moving forward, and your message to Texans.
Well, Governor Abbott said that we are going to be relentless in the rescue efforts, and still, as I said, 27 young girls unaccounted for. We're still hopeful and prayerful that they will be recovered. But as you noted also, the death toll continues to rise. And over and above these camps where these young girls were located, there were many 4th of July campers who were what I guess you'd call day campers, who did not have to register with anybody. And so we don't know how many were there and how many may have been lost. So sadly, we expect the number to continue to go higher, but we're hopeful and prayerful that will not be the case. But unfortunately, the reality is it probably will.
Yeah. Senator, it's a tough job. Look, I was honored to serve as a member of Congress. You're the senator for Texas, and when disaster happens, a lot on your shoulders. We wish you nothing but Godspeed and prayers and miracles for the people of Texas and your constituents. Texas Senator John Cornyn, thanks for joining us on Sunday Morning Futures. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.